What does it take to go from being a broke kickboxer to one of the most controversial and richest internet personalities on the planet? Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny the impact Andrew Tate has made, from sports to business, to getting banned across platforms, and still getting millions of views. The man behind the nickname Top G is an absolute case study in modern masculinity, hustle culture, and digital dominance. But what most people don't know is how calculated, deliberate, and often ruthless his rise to the top really was. Behind the flashy Bugattis and viral one-liners lies a blueprint, a system built from failures, controversy, confidence, and timing. So the real question is, how did Andrew Tate become the Top G? What were the key moves, strategies, and turning points that turned him into a global icon, or villain, depending on who you ask? Stick around, because in this video we're breaking down his rise like never before. We'll dive into the gritty realities of his past, the game-changing business tactics, and the mastery of media manipulation that cemented his status. And just when you think you've figured him out, we'll reveal something you've probably never heard before. This is more than just Tate's story, and it's a glimpse into how influence, controversy, and timing can create a new kind of fame. So grab your seat, because by the end of this video you might look at internet success, and maybe even your own path, a little differently. From broken bones to 1 billion views, the kickboxing roots. Before the wealth, before the controversy, there was just Emory Andrew Tate III, a young man trying to survive. Born in Washington, D.C. and raised in Luton, England, his early life was shaped by struggle. His father, Emory Tate Sr., was an international chess master but died broke. This instilled in Andrew a sense of urgency and competitiveness from a young age. When most kids were out partying, he was grinding, training to become a world champion in kickboxing, all while holding down odd jobs to support himself. He eventually became a 4-time kickboxing world champion, which sounds flashy, but in reality, it paid little. The sport wasn't lucrative, and the money barely covered his living expenses. But Tate used this chapter to build discipline, aggression, and resilience, traits that would later become the foundation of his online persona. Fighting taught him to thrive under pressure, to dominate, to never fold. These weren't just values in the ring, they were life philosophies he carried into business. This part of his life isn't just about martial arts, it's about learning how to lose, how to get back up, and how to win ugly. That mental toughness would go on to fuel everything, from business risk-taking to viral provocations. Here's the curiosity loop. What do you do when you become a champion and still have to borrow money to pay rent? That's exactly where Andrew was. And the way he pivoted from broke fighter to digital entrepreneur? That's where the real story begins. The webcam empire, Tate's first million. So how did Andrew Tate make his first million? The answer may surprise you, or not, depending on how deep you've gone into the rabbit hole. It wasn't real estate, it wasn't crypto, it was a webcam business. Yes, Tate's initial fortune came from running a lucrative cam girl operation with his brother Tristan. What started with one girl grew into a massive team of women, chatting with lonely men online. The money was insane, and it was all tax-efficient, international, and scalable. This operation pulled in hundreds of thousands of dollars monthly, and more importantly, it taught Tate the power of leveraging digital assets, psychology, and scalable systems. He wasn't selling a product, he was selling an illusion, a fantasy, and most importantly, control. It was the first taste of true power. It was also where he started developing his often criticized views on gender dynamics, manipulation, and power, things he would later promote heavily online. But there's a twist. While most people would stop at one source of income, Tate never got comfortable. The webcam business was just a stepping stone, a cash machine he would later use to fund other ventures. He openly talks about how shady and manipulative the industry is, and how being honest about its dark side made him stand out even more. What's important here is not the morality of the business. It's how it worked. Tate found a gap in the market, scaled quickly, and removed emotion from decisions. That's business 101. Now, if you think that's wild, wait till you see how he used this money to build a cult-like following across social media platforms. Viral villain. The art of internet controversy. Andrew Tate didn't just go viral, he engineered it. While most influencers beg for attention, Tate demanded it through shock value. He said things no one else would dare say, not because he believed all of them, but because he knew what would go viral. His interviews, tweets, and video clips became a machine of polarizing sound bites. Love him or hate him. You had to talk about him. This is where the top G persona took full shape. He wasn't just a kickboxer anymore, he became a symbol of alpha energy, of resistance to modern narratives, of confidence in a world of confusion. But more importantly, he was controlling the algorithm. Tate gamified attention and turned it into revenue. One of the most powerful strategies he used was affiliate marketing tied to his online academy, Hustlers University. His followers were incentivized to clip his videos and post them across TikTok and YouTube, flooding the internet with his face and voice. It created the illusion that Tate was everywhere because, well, he was. This technique, called decentralized virality, is now studied by marketers worldwide. He created an army of unpaid promoters, all earning affiliate cash while building his brand to god-tier levels. And here's the loop. What happens when a man becomes too big for the internet to ignore? He gets banned. But even that played into his plan. The Great Cancellation. When platforms fight back in mid-2022, Big Tech had enough. Andrew Tate was banned from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and more. All in a matter of days. The stated reason? Hate speech and misogyny. But to Tate, the ban was proof of his power. He claimed he was targeted because he was too influential, that the Matrix, his metaphor for elite control, had tried to silence him. But what the internet didn't expect? The ban made him bigger. Overnight, he became a martyr in the eyes of millions. His followers rallied, his name trended worldwide, and platforms that banned him only gave him more relevance. He moved to alternative platforms like Rumble, gained even more diehard fans, and turned being canceled into a brand. And let's not forget, by the time he was banned, he had already secured multiple revenue streams: casinos, online courses, crypto holdings, and global real estate. He didn't need mainstream platforms anymore. He had already outsourced his virality and monetization. This moment wasn't a setback, it was a turning point. The bans only made his message more mysterious, his persona more untouchable. He became the top G in exile, a digital outlaw. And when you mix mystery with masculinity and money, you get unstoppable intrigue. Here's the curiosity loop. What do you do when you've been digitally exiled but still have millions of fans? You go global. Global expansion, from Romania to worldwide influence. After the bans, many assumed Tate would fade into digital obscurity. Instead, he went global. He relocated to Romania, a country he frequently praised for its freedom and traditional values. But this wasn't just about avoiding Western laws, it was a strategic move. Romania offered a tax haven, lower media scrutiny, and fewer regulatory restrictions. While most influencers played by the rules of Silicon Valley, Tate rewrote the rules from Eastern Europe. He began living in a high-security compound, surrounded by luxury, exotic cars, armed guards, and cameras. Every piece of content coming from his estate served one purpose: to cement the image of the top G. Powerful, untouchable, and free. His home became both a fortress and a film set, turning his life into 24/7 content. But what made this phase different was his international appeal. Fans from Africa, Asia, and the Middle East started to resonate with his anti-establishment message. In many cultures where masculinity is still traditionally valued, Tate became a symbol of rebellion against Western woke ideologies. He understood something most influencers don't: that the West is not the whole world, and influence transcends borders. Even as controversies mounted, his brand didn't shrink, like it adapted. He shifted from raw virality to more polished interviews, started mentoring young creators, and positioned himself as a kind of underground guru. He embraced long-form content to show a more rational and wise side, a calculated PR pivot to rebuild parts of his image. Here's the loop. When the world tries to silence you, what happens when other parts of the world start listening even louder? Hustlers University and the cult of Top G. At the heart of Tate's empire lies Hustlers University, now rebranded multiple times, a subscription-based platform promising financial freedom and mindset rewiring. This wasn't just an online course, it became a cult-like movement, drawing in thousands of young men eager to escape the 9-to-5 and join the ranks of the ambitious and awake. For just $49 a month, users got access to Discord servers, mentorships, crypto guides, affiliate playbooks, and more. But the real genius? Tate didn't have to promote it, his students did. Members were encouraged to post clips of Tate across social media, funneling viewers back to the university. In return, they earned commissions for new signups. It was multi-level marketing disguised as digital education, and it worked brilliantly. At its peak, Hustlers University claimed over 150,000 active members, generating millions monthly. The community didn't just offer tools, but it offered identity. For many, Tate became a father figure, a role model, or even a savior. Critics called it a grift. Supporters called it the red pill. The most fascinating part? The more people hated Tate, the more curious others became. The controversy became the magnet. Young men, disillusioned by school systems, rising costs, and cancel culture, found validation and purpose in his teachings. Whether it was dropshipping, freelancing, or copywriting, they believed they were finally learning the things schools never taught them. Tate didn't build a course. He built a movement. And it wasn't just about money. It was about masculine pride, freedom, and domination. The top G wasn't just rich, he was awake, and that awakening was contagious. So how did Andrew Tate become the top G? Through a mix of grit, controversy, business acumen, timing, and absolute shamelessness. He broke into fighting, then into business, then into the internet, and finally into the collective consciousness of a generation. His rise is proof that fame today doesn't require approval, only attention. And Tate mastered attention like few ever have. But he didn't do it alone. He used every tool at his disposal. The internet, young men's frustrations, global division, algorithms, affiliate models, cancellation. Every blow became leverage. Every criticism turned into curiosity. His name became unavoidable even in silence. And love him or loathe him, everyone had a take. And that's power. What we're witnessing isn't just a viral personality. It's the evolution of how power works in the 21st century. It's about owning your platform, building your audience, monetizing your beliefs, and never apologizing. That's the Tate blueprint. Whether it's dangerous or genius is for history to decide. Here's the final curiosity loop. What happens when someone who's built an empire on resistance finally gets everything he wants? The wealth, the attention, the followers, and still says he's fighting the Matrix? Has he won? Or has he just entered the next level of the game? This was the story of Andrew Tate, how he became the top G. But maybe the real lesson isn't about him. It's about you. Because in a world that wants you to sit down, shut up, and comply, will you play their game? Or will you build your own?